So recently I ordered a couple of Garrick Wild Speaker cards from the Lorwyn series specifically. You can see the Lorwyn symbol right there. Because I was collecting the original Lorwyn Planeswalkers. That's the series where the Planeswalkers first showed up. I had them all at one point and then I sold a couple of them, and so I was collecting them again. And I ordered these from a seller. I'm not going to share the seller's name, but the seller sent them in these plastic sleeves marked NM for supposedly for near mint. And this Garrick Wild Speaker here is exactly what the seller promised, and I will prove it by turning on the spotlight. So if you go all around the card, you can see like there's a little bit of white on the border, but there's no scratches, no problems. I'll also take and I'll hold this card up to the light, which is what I do with every single card I order, no matter whether it's a 5-cent card or a $7 card. Like these cards were $7.96 a piece or $7.69 a piece. So I paid for each of these cards. They came from the same seller, like I said. Now watch what happens when I put this one under the light. So it looks good, right? Until you see that. See those two marks right there? Those marks, and then look at this mark down here just below the spotlight. And then there's another mark under the word 2 in the second loyalty counter, or the first loyalty counter ability, just under the word 2. So those 4 marks, and again, I hold it up to the light and I let the light go across it, right? And you can see those marks and they just pop out. And then I know that I paid way too much for this card and that the seller didn't do what I just took 2 seconds to do, which is hold it up to the light and see that it is in fact a near mint card. It's not a near mint card. It's I'm not even going to call this lightly played with those gouges in there. I mean, those are pretty bad gouges there. The one down here isn't so bad. If it had been just the one under the word 2, I might have said, okay, it's lightly played. But come on, man. So here's the thing. In the last month, 2 months, I would say the last 2 months, I've spent a lot of money on cards from TCGPlayer.com, buying cards from sellers to build decks or to add to my collection, mostly to add to my collections. I'm collecting all the Planeswalkers. I collect all of the legendary angels. I'm collecting all of the legendary elves. It's just kind of a thing for me. I do build a lot of decks, but mostly I like to just collect the cards, and I don't buy the packs because I want specific cards. So I buy them from the sellers. And I look at the ratings, the customer ratings for the sellers, and I base whether or not I'm going to buy cards based upon how many positive reviews they got, uh, because it's not just about the price. So here's another point that I'm going to make. When I pay money for cards, I want the cards, but I want the cards in the order or in the condition that I ordered them in, that I paid for. This card I want. This card I will add to my collection. This card, I mean, if the seller sends me a self-addressed stamped envelope, I will happily send it back to him, but I don't want a refund. This is the other thing about sellers on TCG Player. As soon as you message them a complaint and say, hey, here's what happened with my cards that you sent, they didn't turn out right, they immediately give you a refund. And here's the thing. If I wanted a refund, if I wanted to keep my money, I wouldn't have given it to you for the cards in the first place. I want the cards. I want the cards. A couple of sellers, a few years back, actually would order me cards from another seller that they knew and trusted. Um, that hasn't happened this year at all. Every time I've had a problem with a card, and I've told the seller, and I always message the seller first because I always want to leave 5-star reviews and positive feedback. The best that I can. I want to have a good relationship with the sellers. Certain sellers, I really love their stuff, but not everybody has everything. I understand that, but I want the cards. I don't want the refund. I want the cards. Okay? And it really is upsetting to me when I order cards and they come looking like this, and you listed them as near mint, and they're clearly not. That's clearly not near mint. Okay? Hold it up to a light. For buyers, hold your cards up to the light, turn them a little bit. You're going to see things you probably didn't want to. Okay? If there's nothing wrong, you'll know. If there's something wrong, you'll know. This is an example. Like I said, I'm not naming the seller. I'm going to reach out to them and say, hey, make this right, because this is not what you sold me. What you sold me was a near mint Garrick Wildspeaker card, and that's not a near mint Garrick Wildspeaker card. And I'm not going to accept that. That's not acceptable. So hopefully the seller will make it right by getting me a near mint card. And then from now on, when they sell stuff to me, they will hold their cards up to the light and say, this guy's a little more, discerning, and I'm not going to get things by him. But I do think, and I've run into so many issues this year, and in years past, I've never had so many issues with sellers on TCGPlayer as I did this year. And I really think it's because either they've got a bunch of new sellers, or sellers are really just trying to see what they can get by with without having to make up for it. And that's why I think they're so quick to just throw a refund back at people, is because they know they're trying to screw us. And I don't want to be screwed. I want what I paid for. I paid for a near mint Garrick Wildspeaker card. I want a near mint card. Thank you.